Thank you for tuning in to this segment of Uniquely Union, a series of interviews with Union County residents and business people who have helped make our county the great place it is to live and work. Today I have the pleasure to interview my good friend, the Honorable Dr. Jason Bailey, Mayor of Union County, Tennessee.
Thank you, Dr. Mincey. It's a pleasure to be here.
You can pay me my $5 for that introduction later, by the way.
Yes, sir.
The first place I remember ever seeing you was when you were young and you worked at Hensley's IGA.
Yep.
And then as time went on, I learned that your great-grandfather, Jim Bailey, was my dad's fishing buddy.
Okay.
So I have known your great-grandpa, your grandpa Elmer, your dad J.M., you, and your son Jackson. There's 5 generations.
Wow.
Amazing.
It is, yeah.
I didn't know I was that old.
You are. We all knew you were that
I
old.
feel it.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, I think you are the youngest mayor that Union County's had ever, I think.
As far as I know, yes. I've actually researched that a little bit and went back through some of the election records and things like that, and I'm the youngest I can find, let's say that. So that, I mean, that's an honor in itself, and
Yes.
I'm very grateful and humbled to the people of Union County who, basically the way I see it, they gave me this opportunity and they hired me to do the job, and I'm very, very thankful for that. I love every minute of it.
And of course, I know you well enough. I have to throw this in. We both went through LMU's doctoral program together, suffered for 2 years.
And we survived, and here we are.
We survived,
Yes.
and here we are. So I know a lot about you.
Yes, you do.
Some we won't tell.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Because you can tell it on me too. But I know enough about you to know that you have a big vision for Union County. So
sure do.
tell us a little bit about your vision for Union County during your term as mayor.
All right. Well, I ran on, one of the biggest things that I ran on when, of course, I ran for Union County mayor was to grow the county. And that is a passion that I have to grow the county. And to grow the county, I mean in terms of workforce development, in terms of new jobs here in the county, new businesses, and just basically things for folks to do here in Union County. I've grown up here my whole life, worked in the school system, like you said, worked at Hensley's IGA. I know a lot of people, and I hear a lot of people and their concerns and what they want in the county. Really people, they just want stuff. They want things to do. They want to be able to work here and make a good wage instead of driving to Knoxville or Claiborne County or wherever it is every day. We lose about 70 to 80% of our workforce every day drives out of the county to work. So I would like to change that. And I do have I have big plans. I think you have to have a vision in order to get anything done. You have to know where you're going. But, like I said the other night at one of our county commission meetings, I gave what I like to call the top 3 for UC, and that top 3 being workforce development, community development, and tourism. And, what I like to point out, too, a lot of people look at tourism in Union County and think, well, what's there to do in Union County? How are we going to get people here? And really, we have, we're sitting on a gold mine here. I truly believe that. One of our number 1 tourist attractions here is Norris Lake. We have one of the prettiest, cleanest, most pristine lakes in the county, in the state of Tennessee, really. We have the lake, we have the mountains, we have Big Ridge State Park, we have Chuck Swan Wildlife Management Area. We have a lot to offer here in Union County as far as recreation and things to do. But we have it on that end, but I would also like for Union County to be known for, obviously, our musical heritage. We have a lot of famous folks that are right here, came from Union County, and we have the Union County Opry that's just started up about a year ago, which is bringing in a lot of people and making us known for our local country music folks. And that's tourism could be a very lucrative business for us if we just handle it right and do it the right way. So.
And I also know enough about you to know that you have some visions for the school system.
I sure do, yes. Of course, most people know that I like to say that I grew up in the school system. I was a teacher at Electoral Elementary School for several years, a countywide coordinator, and then I was lucky enough and blessed enough to be involved with Pilot Elementary from literally the ground up. I was able to be there literally from the first shovel in the ground until the day it opened, and I was there for, 7 years. One of my big projects, if you will, is I would love to build a new middle school. Now, of course, I know a lot of people will think, well, the mayor came from the school system. He wants to, build new schools and do all this just because I came from the school system. Well, no, that's not it. I mean, of course, I do have a passion for education and for the kids here in the county, but I don't want to build a new school simply because I work for the school system. That's not why. We need a new school. And in my personal opinion, I think we need a new middle school, and here's why. Because when I was campaigning and running for office, one of the main things that I heard were people wanted somewhere to go, somewhere for a community center, somewhere for their kids to be able to play basketball, to play football, and just somewhere to, if you needed to have a family reunion or a get-together or something like that, have somewhere to do it. And we have community buildings and things like that, but, nothing of a big grand scale. So I would love to build a new middle school and turn Horace Maynard Middle School into a community center. And in that community center, I would like to move a couple of county offices there. For instance, the finance office, Maynardville Public Library, and the senior center could move out of this building up here on Main Street, and I'll move to what I like to call, I'm calling it County Union. So you see what I did there? Not Union County, but County Union.
There you go.
So that's kind of the name that I'm looking for, but to move that whole complex to that building, and that would free up that building on Main Street for future use for something else. But not only that, we could put up on the hill, as I call it, where it used to be the old vocational school, where you see the garage doors from Maynardville Highway. That's currently the school system's maintenance department, but I would love to put our EMS department up there. You have 6 bays for the ambulances that could go up there versus the 2 that they have already. I would love to see the sheriff's department move up there. Right now, Sheriff Breeding and his staff are in a very cramped location up behind the Little League field. So I would love to be able to move them in that spot as well. Basically, all of your emergency services, could go in that top portion of the old vocational school of the middle school. And then, of course, the bottom parts, you have a gym, you have the auditorium that can be used. You have classrooms galore, where obviously we could put some offices in there, but not only that, you have room for community colleges to come in and teach classes. And your Walter States, Pillissippi, Roan States, those type of community colleges will look to come to your area if you have somewhere to put them. So by doing this, it's an old school. It's perfect. We have classrooms galore that they could actually utilize, and there again, our kids wouldn't have to drive out of county to go, for post-secondary education. We could have it right here. And, my thing is, I do believe, and I feel strongly about this, if we're able to get this project going, build the new middle school, turn this into a community center, I really think it would kill a lot of birds with just one stone. A lot of needs for this county can be addressed by doing that. Our kids get a brand new school. You're always going to have schools. It's just inevitable that you're going to have that. And, why not a new middle school? It's one of our oldest buildings. And all of the kids in Union County can benefit for this because your 6th, 7th, and 8th graders all go to the middle school. So, all of our younger kids that are in school now, would be able to benefit from this. And again, it gives the county a community center, somewhere people can go. We can do things, you can rent it out for parties, you name it. Really, the sky's the limit for this. And like I said, I truly, in my heart of hearts, believe that this project could take care of a lot of stuff for Union County, a lot of needs.
Very ambitious.
Thank you.
And I think that's admirable.
Thank you.
Because you need a plan.
Absolutely, you do.
Now, there are those that might say that's a lot to bite off. Do you
Sure.
think you can ever pull it off?
Well, I hope so. And honestly, I think if you have to look at your finances, obviously. That's the first question that people say, how are you going to pay for this? Well, Union County is really in very good shape financially, actually. And, it's nothing that I've done in my short time as being the mayor. I'll credit Mayor Williams, who was in before me, obviously. He developed and put together the central finance that we have here in the county. And that, of course, handles the finances for county government, the highway department, and the school system. And really, I think that was a brilliant move on his part and all the people who came through to do that, because it really just, as the name, it centralized everything, and it just made everything, more compact, and one person looking over all of our money and our budget, if you will, and it allowed us to save money and to do a lot of things smart financially, and as most people know, Union County High School will be paid off this year. So that is going to be a big chunk of money that the county will be able to put toward another project. And really, once the high school is paid off, our only other big debt is Paulet Elementary, and we owe we'll owe right around $3 million on that. It'll be paid off in 2026. Other than that, we have some very small debts out there. Some not a big payment at all. It's something that really doesn't affect the budget that much. But that's my hope, is that we can really look at the budget and look at our numbers and reallocate some funds and be able to do this, and I don't want to sit here and say, we'll never have to raise taxes. I would love to be able to say that, because I know that is a big concern from a lot of people. Are you going to raise my taxes? Well, of course, I don't want to raise taxes, and it's not my choice anyway. It's the county commission, of course, votes on that, and they look to raise taxes if need be. Of course, we would never want to do that, but one of these days, it's probably going to have to happen. I mean, we have a very low tax rate here in the county. We're at $2.13, and that is extremely low compared to some of the counties around us. Very, very low. And a lot of times I want to point out too that Union County, we have one county tax, but we don't have any city taxes. So I mean that's huge in itself. But anyway, sorry I got off on a tax tangent there. But basically, by being able to reallocate some things in the budget, looking at what we pay now and what we're going to be able to save when this building's paid off, this could be something that we could turn right around and put it into this project. If we have to raise taxes one day, I hope that we don't, but if we do, and more than likely we'll have to one of these days, I'm not saying anytime soon, but one of these days, when people are able to see what they're getting for their money, I think that makes a big difference. I really do. I mean, if we're raising taxes just to pay the bills, that's one thing. But if we have to raise taxes in order to build a new school or to have a new facility for the county, I think people will look at that and think, what? If we want to have things here in the county, we have to pay for them. We have to have the money to do it. So I hope that's the way that people look at it. But again, I'm not sitting here today saying that I'm going to raise taxes by no sense of the word. Just putting it out there that one day it may have to happen.
I can remember sitting in front of a flatbed trailer when the high school, the ground was being broken for it. Mm-hmm. And I think it was 25 years to pay it off at the time, right? I believe 25 or 30.
Yes, and actually, I graduated in 1999, and so it'll be paid off this year, and I was the second class. So 21 years we were able to pay it off. Now, of course, that was, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, the loan was, some of the debt was restructured over the years and for us to be able to pay it off a little early. So
now that the high school is practically paid off, will be this year, do you think there's any possibility of increasing the payment on Paulette and paying it off early?
Absolutely, sure. I do believe that's an option. Of course, I can't speak for Dr. Carter. He's not here, but that's something I would like to sit down with Dr. Carter and the school board to look at maybe, if there's something maybe they could help us with, maybe to help pay off Paulette, or we could double that payment up and get it paid off in shorter time. Like I said, I believe it's paid off in 2026, but it would be a great day in Union County to be able to sit back and get this debt paid off and say we don't have any debt. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's amazing for a county our size. Honestly, it's amazing for a county our size to have the small amount of debt that we have right now. Again, once the high school's paid off, we owe about $3 million on Paulette and a couple of other small little projects, and that's not bad at all. I mean, it's really not for our size county.
Not bad at all. Mm-hmm. With all this change that we're talking about, do you have a vision for historical preservation?
I do, yes. I love what the ladies and gentlemen at the Historical Society do. I mean, they're very passionate about keeping the history of Union County alive and well, and I admire that from them. I really do. I've talked to Miss Wanda and Miss Martha Jean and some of the other folks who help with the Historical Society, and I know they're running out of room. That's one thing. Wanda Byerly has told me several times, all I need is 3 walls and a window. That's it to add on to the Historical Society. And and I love that about Wanda and Martha Jean and all of them. I mean, they are so passionate about that. They have a lot of stuff up there in the historical building, the museum, if you will, and they're going to run out of room before long. And I've told Wanda and Martha too. I know that they have certain bylaws and things that they have to abide by with the archives and things like that. But going back to the county union, repurposing the middle school, again, there's tons of room there. I mean, if they're running out of room with some of their older things that they just need to store somewhere, right there would be a great place to do it. But no, and I know some of the folks over the Historical Society, they're getting up there in age, and I don't mean anything disrespectful by saying that, but it's the truth. And we do need to get some younger folks interested in this to help with the preservation of Union County. And I mean, we've got a lot of good history here in the county, and I want to hopefully try and help to make sure that history is preserved and that the younger generations know about it.
And of course, with historical preservation comes to my mind the name Horace Maynard.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we know the name Horace Maynard did not go with the new high school.
Right.
There are some that were not too pleased with that.
I remember that. Mm-hmm.
Of course, the name stayed with the building, so it's Horace Maynard Middle School, and that
Sure.
was a good thing. What do you see a new middle school maybe being named? Keeping Horace Maynard's name, or?
I really have no idea. To be quite honest, Ronnie, I haven't.
It's a little way down the road, isn't it?
I haven't even
But
thought
there's something
about
else
that.
for you to consider as you go through the.
So noted, yes, sir.
the
And of course, that the school system is the school system. Of course, that's like I want to say that's Dr. Carter's show, not mine.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something good to really consider and think about. I hadn't thought about the name.
And speaking of the school board and the county commission, there is a good working relationship between those two bodies right now, isn't there?
Yes, there is, and I love that. I love that. And I actually started a committee. I named it the Construction Committee, just because it's simply that, looking at the construction, the possibility of a new middle school. And on this board, it is basically half Union County commissioners and half Union County school board members. And I don't know of, and it may have happened, I'm just not aware of it, but I don't know of any other time that the county commission, some of the county commission, and some of your school board have sat down at the same table to really talk and work things out. And I love that. I mean, we're going to have to work together to get things done. And if we all sit down at the same table and, Union County government can do this, well, the school system can do this, the highway department can do this, so on and so forth. We're there for one common purpose, to help this county. And if all the departments work together, we can get things done. And that's just one thing that I love about this body that we have on the county commission, that legislative body, and the relationship with the school board. Everybody seems to be getting along, and it's not a school system against county government like we've saw in the past. I really do think that people are working together, and they understand that you're going to get a lot more done if we can sit down and work together instead of against each other.
I find it very refreshing myself.
Yes, I do. I really do.
Now, of course, with any vision, there are proponents and opponents.
Mm-hmm.
Who has come out so far as your greatest proponents to help you push this vision forward?
Well, obviously, Dr. Carter with the school system, of course, he's going to get a new school out of it. He's very happy about that. And I'll be honest with you, I've talked to a lot of folks just out and about talking. I've had a couple of county meetings. I've called the project planning, and Aaron videoed some of those, live streamed those for us. And I'll tell you, if, every now and then you might have somebody that, that question, how are you going to pay for this, and I explained, but I would honestly say 95% of the people who hear this plan and, really take the time to really look at it, digest it, and see what it's going to do for the county are for it. I mean, they really are. I've heard very, very, very little naysayers, if you will, or people who are against it. Because I really do think, and I made this statement at the last county commission meeting. I was blessed and lucky enough to be elected Union County mayor, and I truly believe that the people who voted for me because they think that I'm going to try to do something with the county as far as progress the county and get things going. And I believe that, I truly do, because that's what I ran on. And, people who know me and voted for me, I want them to know that's my plan and that's what I want to do. So I really think people expect that from me. And, and when I put these ideas out and this vision out, that, I'm getting a lot of support. And I appreciate that. It's wonderful.
And I know you well enough also to know that you are driven.
I am, and I appreciate that. Thank you. I am.
You're goal driven.
Yes.
I know you well enough to also know that you're very OCD.
Very, yes, extremely. I need medication, actually. Yeah, but
enjoy it. Don't knock it.
I know. Why not? It's who I am. It's me. So.
Right. But now, have you encountered any obstacles? Not people necessarily, but physical obstacles like situations or anything of that nature thus far in your planning? I would predict one is land to build.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. That is one. And, we have, there's a lot of unused land here in Union County. There is. But anytime with real estate, location, that's what it's all about, and especially for a school. And, of course, we would want, you don't want to build your one middle school in the county that serves all of your kids. You don't want to put it, a middle school over in Sharps Chapel or one over in Luttrell. I mean, you want it to be centralized, just like here.
Right.
Of course, not only for your transportation issues with the school buses, but, you just want it centralized if it's your only one. So that leads us to, looking at somewhere around in the Maynardville area. And what I like to say is around the first district, which is the Maynardville area, looking for potential sites. And, there's a lot that goes into that. And again, I was blessed enough to be involved with the building of Paulette. And I know, from the ground up, there's a lot involved when looking for a site for a new school. A lot of regulations that the state puts forth, but then you also got to think of, where you're going to be able to put it for your best traffic control. Are you going to have utilities? The power that's needed for the school, your water, your sewer. There's a lot of factors that goes into there, and and also, unfortunately, when people find out that the county's looking for land, sometimes miraculously property values double. And that's something you have to take into account. And but we have a couple of sites that we're looking at, and we've reached out to a few property owners. But again, it's so early in the planning process. It's just trying to get an idea, put your feelers out there and see where you are.
And it's my understanding that the county and/or school system owns a lot of land, but it's not really good for the purpose that we're looking at.
Correct, they do. A lot of times people will mention the land that the school system owns behind Union County Little League field, which it's a big parcel of land up there. But is it suitable for a new building, a new middle school? Excuse me, I've actually went and walked that property, just to kind of, not the whole property, but just kind of to walk around, and I've looked at the aerial maps and things. I don't know if it would be the best place, simply because there would be a lot of excavation that would have to be done on that property up there. And not only that, but you got to think, it's right there on the main highway. You got to look at your traffic, your ways to get up there. There's a lot of factors that come into play. But we do. The county owns a lot of land, and the school system owns a lot of land. But there again, is it big enough for what we need, and is it in the right location for what we need? There's some more land back behind Union County High School, behind the ball fields and things like that. But, is that where we want it? Do we want another school right here on Main Street, to add to our traffic problems and things like that? There's just a lot to consider with that.
Okay, let's play devil's advocate for a minute.
All right.
I am a small business owner.
Okay.
With practically nothing but a little idea. Attract me to Union County.
attract you to Union County? Okay.
Let's assume I'm a feasible small business owner.
Okay.
Just
Well-
with not a lot of capital to start out with or anything.
Sure.
Draw me to Union County.
Well, honestly, and you got to look from, I guess, a business end of it. Look at your tax rate. I mean, there again, we're at $2, and we'll say $2.14. We're at 213.99999, so we'll say $2.14. Tax rate versus we're the cheapest around, just to be quite honest. From a business aspect, I guess, and honestly, the people. I mean, really, the people in Union County, you just can't beat the folks in Union County. I mean, we're friendly people. We're here. We're at home here in Union County, and people are good to each other, and I think that's a big proponent to get people here. And then, like I said before, look, you've got your recreation, you've got the lake. You've got your wildlife areas, and Union County is just a beautiful county. And I can't say how many times I've had people from the State Department or just from different organizations that come into Union County to meet with me at the courthouse, and 9 times out of 10, the first words out of their mouth was, "Oh, it was a beautiful drive. This is such a beautiful area. We've enjoyed this." I hear that all the time, and it is. I mean, that's what I would say to get folks to Union County. It's just a great place to be.
I'm a small business person. I am going to open a small business. What kind of business would probably be the most feasible to open in Union County, in your opinion?
That's a good question.
Based on what you know.
I think a restaurant, because I hear that a lot. We need more places to eat, and I see people out at lunch. Usually, I'm out every day somewhere eating lunch here in the county, and people, when are we going to get a Chick-fil-A? When are we going to get this restaurant? When are we going to get this restaurant? So I think if somebody really wants to come in and make a splash in Union County, come in and open a really good place to eat. We've had several good places to eat here, but there's enough business to go around. I think that would be. I think that would be something really easy. I don't know about easy, but something lucrative for someone to come in and start up. I really do.
And not to put any pressure on you, but people know you well enough. A lot of the people I know you, and they have known you longer than I have even. But they will make the comment, "Jason needs to get us this, Jason needs to get us that."
Yeah.
You feel any pressure from that? I mean, it's kind of personalizing the whole process to your responsibility.
Yeah, it is, but I'll tell you that to me that's really, really awesome. That people really think that I have that I have those abilities to be able to get something done, and it's humbling. For people to think that about me, and I'm just very, very humbled and gracious that they would. But no, I don't feel any pressure on that at all, because I think people know if I'm able to do it, I'm going to do it. But you have to understand too, Rome wasn't built in a day. There's a lot of things that come with getting new businesses into the county, new restaurants and things. And I'll be honest with you too. I have 2 wonderful assistants in my office, Heather Sizemore, Ginger Fields, and I give them a project and they jump on it. And one of the projects when I first came in was I told the 2 ladies, I said, let's call everybody we can think of. Let's send emails to Wendy's. Let's send emails to Cracker Barrel. Let's call Aldi grocery store. Let's do this and see. I mean, what are they going to do? All the worst they can do is say no. Call and say, well, hey, have you ever thought about coming to Union County? And honestly, you name it, and we have probably either emailed, called, talked to someone to try to get folks up here to look at the area. So we're trying. I mean,
Speaking of a Cracker Barrel, there are people that once upon a time might have thought we would be a lunatic to try to draw something because we're not close to an interstate.
Right.
But Middlesboro, Kentucky has a Cracker Barrel.
They do.
They're not close to an interstate either.
And it's thriving. I mean,
they're farther away from Corbin, Kentucky, I guess, than we are from 640 in Knoxville.
Yeah, I think so.
So it worked for them.
Yeah. And a lot of times, and I'm going to take this opportunity to put a little plug in about the census, because the census is so important, because our last census, of course, was in 2010. Well, Union County has 19,000 people, a little between 19,000 and 20,000 people here in Union County, and that's what these big businesses look at. When they look to come to your county, they look at your population, they look at all this different data that comes from the census to see if their business is going to be able to maintain here in the county. And that's why it's so important for people to really do the census, be counted, do the paperwork. It doesn't take that long. A couple of minutes of your time could really make a difference for our county, because if you're a business, let's say a Cracker Barrel, for instance, just for lack of another restaurant. Are you going to come to a county that has 19,000 people, or are you going to look at another county that might have 30,000? Where are you going to go? And you got to look. They're in the business to make money, and they're going to do what they need to do for their business to be profitable. And that's honestly, in my opinion, I think there's a lot more than 19,000 people in this county, simply because when you campaign across this county and you're knocking on doors, for 6 months before election time, you see a lot of people and you see a lot of homes, and I truly believe there's a lot more folks here than 19,000. And not only that, but the people who commute through Union County. You have a lot of folks from Claiborne County who work in Knoxville that drive through Union County every day, right up Highway 33. That would, if there's a new restaurant here, they would stop and eat. When we do contact businesses and they look at our census numbers and things like that, I always want to say, don't just take that data. Come out here and look. Come out here at lunchtime and see how crowded these businesses are. Look at the profit margins that some of these restaurants and things are making. You can survive here in the county. You can.
Mm-hmm. You may have touched on this a little bit, but I am a huge business, like Amazon.com, looking for another distribution center.
Okay.
Wouldn't Union County be a great place for that?
It would be an awesome place for that.
How are you going to draw them?
Well,
aside from what you've already said.
Sure. For your large companies, we actually have put together, we still got a little tweaking to do on this, but we put together what's called a pilot plan, and that's a payment in lieu of taxes is what that stands for. And it's basically a plan that you put together that's approved by your county. Of course, it has to go through different steps with the state and things like that, but to give businesses tax incentives for coming in. For instance, if you're a business that comes into Union County and you employ 50 people, then you get this certain amount not an amount, I guess, but a certain time that you may not have to pay, the assessed or the increased value of your property taxes, your land. The improvement value is the word I'm looking for. Based on how many people you hire from the county, that'll get you so much off of your improved value of your taxes, your land taxes, for so many years. I don't have the plan in front of me to go through and tell you the exacts, but that is one thing that we're developing, and it's almost completely finished that way to entice some people in, because we do have a low tax rate. Yes, we do. But then you also got to think, like Amazon, for instance. If Amazon wanted to come here, Amazon's big thing is they need an interstate, and we don't have an interstate here. We have a 2-lane road, from the city limits to Knox County, the Knox County line, which, again, we're number one on TDOT's list to get that 4-lane highway from the city limits to the Knox County line, which that, I think, by doing that, that's going to entice from some different businesses to come in. But, since we don't have a lot to offer as far as infrastructure and closeness to an interstate and things like that, entice them in other ways. And, that's one way we can do it, by giving them some discounts on their taxes and different things like that. So, and I've not reinvented the wheel by doing this. Of course, I've looked at other counties to see what they've done and, taken kind of the best, if you will, from every county as far as incentives and putting that into a package. Sure. And, making it attractive for folks to come to Union County.
The last, for us, big business, I would call it, that we lost was Fred's when it closed. Mm-hmm. Of course, that wasn't just us. I think all Fred's everywhere closed. Right. How bad has Fred's closing hurt Union County, in your opinion, or based on what you know? Well,
as far as tax revenue and things like that, honestly, I don't know the answer to that. Mm-hmm. But as far as, employees, they employed several folks, that hurt us. And not only that, but, I've heard a lot of people say they really miss Fred's, because you could get, some things at Fred's that you may not be able to get at your Dollar General stores or Food City that, it saves a trip to Hall's, to Walmart, or wherever they may go. That's the main thing that I hear. And I hate to see any business go, because, right now it's a vacant retail business right there on Manorville Highway that I just hate to see sitting there empty. As far as money-wise, I don't know the answer right off, but, it did hurt as far as just, something else in Union County. And it's almost like sometimes you take 2 steps forwards and 3 steps back. I mean, that's kind of what you run into. But even though Fred's closed and moved out, I hated that. But there's a big building up there that has a lot of potential, and we'll find something to go in there. I think so.
Well, something that comes to my mind is maybe when Hammers was here, I believe it was highly popular. Now that, and I just say this because Fred's closed and there's an available building, do you think there's any possibility of maybe enticing Hammers to open another store in Union County?
It's anything's possible, I guess. Of course, that building is privately owned by a citizen here in the county, and I know that gentleman well, and it's jointly owned, but I know one of them really well, and I know that he's reached out to several businesses to see, and I do believe Hammers was one of them. I don't quote me on that, but I do believe that was mentioned at one time. Hammers and several businesses that could come in to occupy the space, but hey, I mean, it's worth giving Miss Hammer a call and seeing.
Can't hurt, can it?
Absolutely, yeah. And Hammers was, that was a big deal. I mean, you saw you have a towel sale at Hammers. I mean, come on, people were backed up Maynardville Highway to get in, So that Hammers was a really good business for Union County.
Yes, many people were very disappointed when it went out.
Oh, absolutely. And I think one of the main reasons that they shut down was they were losing a lot of their parking lot because the road was expanding. And of course they moved down to the Halls location, which I know a lot of folks still go down there, and a lot of the original folks that worked at this one in Maynardville still work at the one in Halls. But I would love to see them back. Maybe one day they could.
A practical question from some people's standpoint. Why is gasoline so much higher in Union County than it is over on Washington Pike, which is not that far away?
I have no idea. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Of course, I could expand that question and say, why is gasoline at Weigel's over on this road cost 25 cents a gallon more than over on this road?
Honestly, I guess that's up to the store owners. I really don't know, Ronnie. I have no idea.
Of course, this is an observation on my part. Union County, I believe, could sell more if I couldn't drive 15 minutes and get it for, I'm talking about gasoline.
Sure.
If I could drive 15 minutes and get it a gallon cheaper.
Right.
Why would I just not keep my tank topped off enough to drive the extra 15 minutes to get the quarter off?
Yeah. I get it. Good question. I don't know.
I mean, the lower the prices, the more that people are going to buy local. Of course, that makes sense. Of course, that's something I know, have no control over.
Right.
That's just on our economic discussion here. What else about Union County Mayor's office can you tell us at this point? Things to look forward to, successes that you have already experienced?
Okay.
And you've been the mayor since 2018?
Yes.
September
August.
1st, 2018?
Yes, sir. That's right. So, when I first came into office, one thing that I did notice, and I didn't want to come in and just start changing things all at once. I wanted to come in and do some observation and sit back and just watch and collect some things and collect some ideas and some thoughts. And one thing that I really think that we needed to do, and I think I have done and continuing to do, is update some of our buildings and our property here in the county. The courthouse was, the courthouse is our county seat. It's where all of our offices are held, our courts, and I think it's a building we should be proud of. That courthouse represents Union County. So it needed cleaned up a little bit. It needed some new paint. It needed some pressure washing. A lot of maintenance needed to be done on the courthouse, and that is something that I brought to County Commission's attention, and they approved the funding to do that, which I'm very grateful. But not only the courthouse, we've improved, and we're going to improve all of our community buildings, and by that I mean the Paulette Building, Cedar Grove, Brock, the Sharps Chapel building, Sharps Chapel community building, senior building, what they call it, Sharps Chapel. We're just making improvements to all of our county properties, because I think, I never want Union County citizens or people, not from Union County coming into the county to look at our stuff and our things and be like, this doesn't look good. why do you not take care of your stuff here in the county? And, and that's something I want to get above. I want to be able to get things fixed up. It needs to look nice. People pay their property taxes here in the county for services and for things to be done, and that's what I want to do with that money. I want for people to stand back and look at Union County and be like, you know what? Union County's moving up. We're getting some things done. There's no reason we can't look as good as there are other counties around or have what the other counties have. And that's one thing that I'm really passionate about is improving the looks of our buildings and our county in general. I'm
that, of
really
course,
big
goes
on that.
along with your OCD personality.
It does, because there was, several months when I was elected, walking into that courthouse every day. And I remember going up, the steps and just looking around and just seeing, some of the dirt that had been on that building, for probably 20 years that hadn't been washed off. And some, paint was chipping here and concrete was breaking here. And, that's just, I just couldn't stand that, walking into that building and knowing that, people are paying taxes to keep this county up and to have, like I said, the services and nice things. And why not? I mean, why let your courthouse and your buildings fall apart? The money's there to fix it. Let's get it fixed. Let's make it look nice. But that is one thing that I am proud of. And again, that is, that's something I want to continue doing. It's not just a one-time thing, do a paint job and move on. We want to get things looking good and then be able to maintain them as we go on. Like I said, again, I truly think that people understand my need and my push for all of us to work together. Our county commissioners, our school board members, all of the elected officials, whether it's the trustee, whether it's the mayor of Maynardville, the mayor of Plainview, Luttrell, whatever, we all are in this together. We all need to work together, and that's one thing I hope people see in me that I do want to push for that, and I'm a big proponent of that, to get that going.
You, at the same time, with all of the cooperation, you do have an edge.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
And that's not a bad thing.
It's not, and that's the thing. I always want to treat people with respect, and I will always give respect. I will, but I'm also human, and I'm not going to let somebody run over me, just to be quite honest.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to let anyone run over our county. I'm just not. I mean, it's my job to take care of the county and look at the county's best interest. And if every now and then you got to grit your teeth a little bit, and growl, you got to growl and get it done. And that's and I learned that very quickly. And not only as being a school teacher, but a principal. You have to be good. You have to be nice. You have to be willing to compromise and look at the big picture. But you got to be a little tough. You can't let people run over you. You got to be able to stand your ground and get things done.
Do you see yourself? And I know you're in the middle of your first term as mayor.
I am.
Do you see yourself as a career politician?
I don't know. That's a good question, and people have asked me that.
Kind of runs in your family.
It does. I mean,
to an extent.
I've always said that I guess politics is in my blood. My grandfather Elmer was a county commissioner for several years. My dad J.M. was a commissioner. He was a road commissioner at one time, and Dad had ran for several offices. Years I remember as a kid, literally. My goodness, as far back as I can remember being at the polls, handing out cards for somebody, either being my Papa Elmer or my dad, and I've lived it my entire life. I've grown up around it. I knew at an early age in elementary school where all your political districts were. Who the power players, if you will, in those districts were. I just knew that from hearing my dad. But as far as being a career politician. I don't know. I don't guess I see myself as a politician. Maybe I am. I don't know, but I don't see myself as that. But I would love to be the Union County mayor as long as I can be. As long as the good people in this county think that I can do the job and want me to do the job, I will be happy to do the job. But you just never know what's going to happen. Life happens. Things happen. I want to be the mayor for a long time, but if not, then the way I see it is the good Lord has other plans for me, and that's what I said when I was running for office. When I told my wife when I broke the news to her that I was wanting to do this,
she jumped for joy. I'm sure.
Well, hey, she's all bless her heart. I drag her around to all this stuff that I do, and I always have, since I was a school teacher. nature. But she's very supportive, and I told her, I said, it's a big decision to run for office. Obviously, it's number one, it's a lot of money to run for office. I mean, it really is, just to be honest. Not only that, but it takes a lot of time.
Right.
And those 5 and 6 months that I ran, I was rarely home. So my wife was there with our son Jackson, and I was absent for a while. But it's just, I told her, I was the principal at Paulette. I was either going to be the principal at Paulette again, or I was going to be the mayor. And so, I went out there and gave it my best, and the people decided, and the good Lord saw fit that I was going to be the mayor. And if I run and keep winning, that's great. If I run and if I get beat out of office, then that's the way it's supposed to be. And that's truly what I believe. I really do feel strongly about that.
Speaking of your years as principal at Paulette, you opened the school.
Yep.
Matter of fact, you were, as you said, heavily involved from the ground up. And you were there how many years?
7 years.
What do you see as your greatest accomplishment during that 7 years?
At Paulette? Oh, wow. Let me say this. It's not many people have the opportunity that I was given at Paulette to be named the principal while the school was being built, and being able to have input on the design of the building, on the way it looked, on the furniture that went in, and things like that. That in its own is huge. I mean, just being able, I will never drive by Paulette Elementary and not look at it and be like, what, I had a hand in getting this school up and going. But I really, really, really love the sense of the culture and climate that was established at Paulette, because when we opened Paulette, of course, I like to say we split Maynardville Elementary right down the middle. We took half of the staff, we took half of the students, and the teachers that came down and the students that came down, I think that they had so much pride in being able to come into a brand spanking new building. Just come in and some of these teachers had been teaching for quite some time, and some of them have taught in those outside portables that were at Maynardville Elementary, and being able to move into a brand new building. People, they were proud of it, and they took pride in that and took care of the building. And I think we were all one big family, and I really think that we wanted what was best for our kids, and everyone worked so hard to try to make Paulette the best school around. And in my opinion, it was the best school around. Of course, all the other
Not
principals.
that you were prejudiced or anything,
but
right?
all the other principals are going to say that about their school too, and as they should. But just being able to walk around and seeing people enjoying that new building, taking care of it, having pride in it, and just the successes you see every day. I mean, you were a school principal, you know that. I mean, walking into those classrooms and seeing the good things that are going on, the teachers teaching and the kids learning. I mean, that's the best part of it. That is the one part that I truly do miss from being in the school system, is just walking down the hallways, talking to the kids, going into the classrooms, talking to the teachers and the kids, and just seeing the school work. I do miss that.
Well, as we come to a close, do you have anything else you would like to share? A final thought to leave with us?
Well, I just want people that watch this, and people that may sit back and look at my plans, the plans plural that I have for the county, and think it may be a little ambitious. I understand that, but why not? Why not be ambitious? But I want people to really. I ask people to be open-minded about things, to really just step back, look at the big picture, look at what we're trying to accomplish here in the county, what we need in the county, and, be open-minded about different ideas. I mean, who would have thought that we could, turn an old school into a community center, just different things like that. I want people to really just be open-minded and to be informed, because that is one thing that I shouldn't say bothers me, but yeah, I will say it does bother me that when folks get out here and assume things that are going on in county government and get rumors started and things like that about how we're being frivolous with money and things like that. I just want people to be informed and to understand how the process works. And if somebody is confused about how something works or what's going on in county government, all they have to do is call me. That's it. Call me and ask, and I'll be happy to sit down, explain it to them on the phone, whatever. But I just want people to be informed, know what you're talking about, contact me if you don't, and to be open-minded. I really, really ask that people do that in the next coming years as we start planning and really trying to get things going in the county.
That did remind me of an additional question.
Okay.
How well attended are county commission meetings?
Well, I'll tell you, I have saw the attendance grow as far as physical attendance in the courtroom. But I'll tell you this, and I'll credit this to Aaron and his dad, JT. Now that these meetings are live streamed, my goodness, some of our county commission meetings get somewhere from, you might have one that gets 800 views, some might get 1,000 views. And I think that is awesome because, the more people understand and the more people are involved, I think the more you're going to get done. And by people, not having to get up and come to the courthouse to watch a meeting, they can sit on their couch in their pajamas eating their popcorn and watch county commission meetings. I think that is huge. And thank you, Aaron and JT, for putting that together in historic Union County. That's a huge, huge thing for Union County and for our commission meetings. But I love it. I love that people are watching and getting involved, and I love too that I'm out and about during the day and people say, "I saw you on the live stream the other night, and I like what you said about this," or "What do you mean about this?" And that's great. I mean, I love that. I truly do.
That's great.
Yep.
Dr. Friend Jason Bailey, thank you.
Well, thank you, Dr.
Being with us.
Mincey. I appreciate
Always
it
a
so very
pleasure to
much.
be around you and with you. And thank you, good folks, for tuning in this segment of Uniquely Union, a series of interviews with Union County residents and business people who have helped make our county great. Thank you.